going on, y'all? And today we're going to be jumping into some brand new raw gameplay of Need for Speed Unbound for the very first time, and I am insanely excited to jump into this gameplay. And of course, we're going to be diving in and analyzing it more as we go on. So as you can see right here, we're setting up for a speed race, and as you can see, there was a little bit of a buy-in amount, and then you get these sort of introduction screens as the race loads. Then of course, you've got all of your cars lined up right there at the start, and honestly, we've got some really well set up cars getting ready to start here. Now, get a little bit of a look at the custom characters, couple of different characters right here off of the start. You've got, of course, A$AP Rocky's Mercedes, and this thing, it seems to be obviously very much so highlighted throughout the game, and it's probably going to be, well, we know it's going to be basically the star car of the game, and that makes sense because that's what they're going to highlight in most of the gameplay. Now, this race does jump throughout the majority of the actual content of that race. It jumps to about 70% in the race, but get a good look at the visuals, get a good look at the effects, get a good look at the environment and the surroundings. For example, the absolutely gorgeous environment, the skyline, the tree line, like, you know, the clouds, the sky, it's all really well detailed. Now, I'm sure that there are going to be some of you guys down there in the comment section that are going to not be a fan of the race effects, as I've seen in my comments prior. By the way, that Z on the left, holy crap, that body kit. Now, as we go through the city here, we continue to see the effects coming off of the cars, and you'll see a little bit later on, you know, on the jumps when they sprout wings or when they boost and there's a little bit of a flash. Remember, that stuff can be turned off, and if you're really worried about that or if you're not interested in having it on, it can be 100% turned off. That's no big deal. Now, one of the biggest things that driving through the city reminded me of personally was actually driving through the downtown areas in Burnout Paradise, especially jumping up here onto the train tracks and the train bridge. It really gave me huge Burnout Paradise vibes, which to a degree it makes a lot of sense because, you know, with Criterion being behind this game, but even then, you know, they could have gone further away from that, but they still, you know, they could have gone further away from that and been like, well, we're not going to include any of that, you know, that's kind of like a different series and this, that, and the other, but I'm really glad that they included a little bit of that history and a little bit of that inspiration here in the development of the map. And the city looks absolutely incredible, by the way, like with the parked cars on the side of the road, the pedestrians like running around, getting out of the way. That reminds me a lot actually of Driver San Francisco, which again takes me way back. By the way, that Z was gorgeous. Right there you can see the wing effects that I'm sure some of you guys are going to want to turn off. There's that Z again. And as you can see, drifting seems to have a lot of a very high degree of slowdown effect, which is completely the opposite of what we've seen in Need for Speed games prior, where it like kind of speeds you up and adds to your speed as you go through a corner. So really interesting there. Now, let's go through this gameplay again and stop it at certain points and really analyze in detail what's going on. So we let it play through all the way first, and then now we're going to stop it at some interesting points and discuss what we see. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Now, this race, as you can see, we're on lap 2. We've been in the race for about 2.5 minutes. We're 97% complete. This race doesn't last very long at all, but as you can see, you've got the boost coming out right there. You've also got, so you've got, actually, you can see the boost coming out of the exhausts, and you can see the light trails coming off of both sets of taillights, which looks really good. Let's go ahead and get past Harlow in the gorgeous wide-body C8 with that massive wing across the line, taking the win, and that's when the speed race gameplay begins. So right here, you can see us pulling up to a meetup location. Now, it's interesting, you can see actually the split between the different types of cash that the player is actually carrying. You can see we're also in the Edgewater district, which is actually, that's cool because that actually makes me think, oh, you know what? That actually looks like either a factory or a power station back there. That's really neat. All right, so let's pull up to the Meetup. Now, approaching Meetup. And as we drive in, it seems to automatically initiate. Now, right here, you can see they've actually kind of blurred out, or not even blurred out, but they've deleted where you would see what the select and back buttons were. So I guess that means that they're like kind of trying to be a little tricky, a little cagey about like what this was filmed on. But still, look at all the different like custom cars and characters in this Meetup space. We've got a, dude, God, look at all of these. That's wild. Like, there were some that I didn't even see the first time through. Got the brand new Mustang right over there on the right. We've got what looks like a 280Z right back there, the gorgeous gold 280Z. We have some other cars in the back that are behind A$AP Rocky's Mercedes, which you can't really fully see. And then over on the left, we have what looks like a like C63 coupe. We've got a Cayman. We've got what looks potentially like a custom Ferrari. I'm not sure if that's either the C8 or the Ferrari to the left of the back of A$AP Rocky's Mercedes. But let's continue on just a little bit. Now, going into the event itself, you see you can also go over to Rivals or to My Rides, but this screen, this is going to give you some information on the race itself. So Speed Race, a Lakeshore Classic. Test out your ride on some straights, put the pedal to the metal, and get some real speed. Let's go. So Speed Race is probably just going to mean that the race itself is going to be a faster course. It's not going to be very tight. It's not going to be very technical. There's going to be a lot of flat out areas where you're either going to be in high speed sweeping corners or really long flat out straights with one tight little loop corner at the end. So you can also see right here, there is a buy-in of $22.50 for this race, and you can see they also split up the different amounts that you get for the different positions you might finish. Now, you can see, interestingly, down here, if you finish 6th or worse, anything 6th or worse actually loses you money, which is a very interesting detail. Kind of ups the stakes of things a little bit. So let's let him jump into this event. Oh, you can see, actually, hold on, right there. If we pause this and we actually look, so this thing is actually running Falcon RT660s, which are, that's really cool that they went all the way in depth to actually get a tire model in there. Those are a really popular 200 treadwear tire, if you guys are not familiar with that. But you see them out a lot at like track days and autocrosses and things like that. But that's wild that you can even see the tire size code right there on the side. Holy crap. So this is actually a 235/40, but like it's really hard to see the rest of the numbers. God, that is wild. That's so sick that you can actually see that. I do love the loading screens. The loading screens are really cool. And then, of course, these startup screens look pretty similar to some of the ones we've seen before. They do give you a nice, like, detailed look at the car. Look at that fitment. That is nuts. We do get a look at Harlow's Corvette here, which you can see this jump license plate. Interesting detail. I love the design. The design is wild on that thing. And again, getting a little bit of a better look at the character detail, if we can customize all of these elements of what the characters actually look like, I think people are really going to go to town on the character customization. So let's go a little bit further on, and actually, let's just pause it right here. Look at the detail on the interior of the car. The seats, right? Like, look behind, you know, their head and everything. Then look into the back. You can even see what looks like some bracing and maybe even some details of the engine in the back. That's gnarly. And again, jump back to our car with, again, a very, very good looking interior as well. And kicking it off, we've already got a heat level of 3. That Boxster is interesting. I called it a Cayman earlier because I didn't see the fact that it actually had the top down. Yeah, that's a Boxster. All right, so let's get just a little bit further on here. You can see a little bit of a look at that massively wide-bodied 280Z. Maya is not having a good time. Maya is off of the guardrail. Now, as we get a little bit further along, it seems like one of the themes throughout these races is that Harlow is going to be quite fast. Harlow seems like they're going to be a recurring, kind of like, maybe not an antagonist, but a recurring person that you'll end up racing against a lot. Let's go a little bit further forward. We'll finish that race. We'll win that one. And then now, so let's see. Let's pause it on this screen. I don't know why I said that, but we've got a street race, which is interesting. So there's a heat gain, no buy-in for that. We've got a drift event with a $10,000 reward and a $4,000 buy-in, interestingly enough. There is a locked endurance race, which interestingly enough is called Old Town Road. Interesting reference they threw in there. But let's see. So that one, the car tier needed for that is A. So let's actually go over to, okay, so this is another speed race, which again, if you look at the route, that makes sense that it would be a speed race because it's mostly just, you know, sweeping, flowing corners and long straights. Now, this is an A+ event with a buy-in of $3,000, a reward of $12,000, and a 1.5 heat unit gain. So let's see. Once again, same description, just trying to get a look at everything. And then we have this. So this is a big money race. This is a street race, an S-tier street race called On Race. scales, and let's see. Street race signifies a race through the sharp corners and narrow streets of Lakeshore's city and suburbs. Let's give the people something to talk about. So these are going to be a little bit more technical, a little bit more complicated, a little bit tighter. And as you can see, that actually really shows in the route choice that they have here. Now, this one is what's considered a big money race. Like I said before, there's a $12,000 buy-in, 3 heat unit gain, but your reward is $36,000, which is absolutely nuts. Absolutely freaking insane. Let's see if we can get just a little bit further along in the gameplay here. This has me really excited for this game, by the way. So, let's see. Whoa, okay. So, we actually get to look at a couple of different cars here. Now, we're hovered over this 2017 Nissan GT-R Premium, and you can see, aha! You can see the grip to drift handling. So, the GT-R is actually slid a little bit further towards grip, and it's a 40% grip bias, interestingly enough. They give you a top speed readout, a 0 to 60 readout, and then it quickly will flip over to the Mercedes 190e 2.516, and this is a S tier with a perfect neutral grip to drift balance. Now, what that means in terms of the physics, or what perfect neutral is actually going to signify, we'll have to wait and see. Top speed is apparently 230 miles an hour. That is absolutely freaking nuts. But interestingly enough, I wonder if that means that we can base all of the physics that we've seen in this video off of what a perfectly neutral handling balance looks and feels like. Very interesting detail there. Let's go a little bit further forward. Now, this is where we actually see the sort of like side bet screen, and whoa, holy crap, look at the freaking body kit on that car to the right. That's wild. But anyway, looking at the side bet screen, you can actually choose whichever one you want to, like, whichever opponent you want to side bet against. I would probably recommend just side betting against the highest one, because that's going to give you the highest return, and if you're winning most races, you're going to be able to bank that as just extra cash anyway. Now, there's another look at that Z. It has heart exhausts. What? So that's like full-on, like, Bosuzoku setup. That is nuts. Look again here at the parked cars. You can see the pedestrians milling around. I love the fact that they've got, like, pedestrians walking around and parked cars. This scene right here, by the way, seems directly out of Burnout Paradise. I don't know why I'm getting so many Burnout Paradise vibes from this, but, like, I totally am. Now, let's go just a little bit further along here. Look at all the parked cars. A little bit of camera warp going on there, but, oh, we got a cop right there. If we go a little bit further forward, that cop doesn't seem to be all that excited about what we're doing, but we've got, again, you can see a very blurred pedestrian right there. Dude, they, like, blew around the inside and then promptly understeered straight off. But as you can see, whoever you've placed a side bet against will be specifically signified with that extra money symbol. So that's actually really neat. So let's go a little bit further along here. A little bit of a residential neighborhood kind of area. And then jumping ahead in the race, back behind Harlow again. Got a little bit of a jump here up onto a railway bridge. The railway bridge, again, going back to those Burnout Paradise vibes. Even partially Most Wanted 2012 vibes, but I know that there are a lot of people that weren't a big fan of Most Wanted 2012, so take that with a grain of salt. Now, as you can see again, now we're at a heat level 5, and there is a helicopter chasing us. So things appear to have escalated quickly, and if you look down there on the map, or at least looked a minute ago, oh, you can see it now, a little bit right up there in the right-hand side of the map. There is it looks like there is a roadblock coming up. So let's see. Got more pedestrians milling around, just chilling. I don't see... Oh, interesting. So the roadblock is actually off the main route. So I was like, I didn't see it when we came around the turn, and I guess there's a reason for that, because it would be right there over to the right, as you can see. So continuing to move along a little bit. Harlow seems to be sticking with us, but we're out accelerating them by just a little bit, and then it jumps back to nighttime. Got a lot of, like, commotion going on all over the place. People running around, like, you know, traffic going every which way. Gorgeous 350Z, by the way. I love that 350Z. It screams like Need for Speed Underground era drift car. It really does. There's that, like, wildly custom 280Z again. It's either 280, 260, 280, 260, 240, one of those. Back again with the 350Z into a long underpass area. This seems, that actually has some Underground 2 vibes to it. Now, we seem to be coming up to the end of the main race, and boom, that is where that gameplay concludes. But if you guys enjoyed this look that they gave us at Need for Speed Unbound gameplay, and you want to stay as up to date as possible, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and turn those notifications on. And also, we will be playing Need for Speed Unbound here on the channel as soon as it drops, so if you're excited for that and you want to see that, also make sure you are subscribed. But that's going to do it for this one, and I will see y'all next time.